What's up, folks? Welcome to Nino's Corner. I'm with Jon Pounders, now UC TV. It's always awesome to have him on here. We always have a great conversation. Man, so I saw one of your videos where you got a letter from, I guess, an anonymous person with no return address, basically giving you a warning or a threat. It seemed to me like it was kind of threatening, to be honest with you. You read it on air, and I heard this, and it's explain to me who this group is. First of all, Jon, thanks for joining me, man. With the Charlie Kirk assassination, everyone's on edge. Everything's kind of, the tensions are high. Protests are starting to begin again. And it looks like they're going to target right-wing individuals, influencers, because they have to resort to violence. Jon, thank you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on about this. It's weird, and being a podcaster and a person that stands for values in general, you know this as well as I do. We get threats a lot, but in the wake of all the Charlie Kirk thing and all of that, this one just felt weird, and it also the way it was written, like you said, it was written as a warning, but it did feel like a veiled threat, and I think I really do think they want us to be afraid. And I brought the letter here. I got the letter, so I'm not going to read the whole thing unless you want me to, but I can read the whole thing if you'd like. I
It's
think
not
it's kind of,
long, right?
yeah,
It's
it's
not
not that
long.
long. It's
All
not
right,
that long.
let's go ahead and do it. But before we do that, folks, get your BioTrust Collagen. A 2025 survey found that over half of the U.S. adults are concerned about how fast their skin is aging, and 40% fixate on random wrinkles and dark spots. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. More and more people are noticing visible changes in their skin far earlier than expected. Yeah, it's all the crap they're putting in our food. This is why I use my secret anti-aging weapon, and I'm obsessed with the changes I've noticed in my skin. I don't think I look too bad for 48, folks. It provides my skin with the five must-have types of premium collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. Since taking it, I've experienced smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a more youthful glow. Plus, it mixes smoothly with my morning coffee or tea with no taste or clumps. Be sure to grab a bag of ageless multi collagen now while it's 51% off, folks. Hit the link down below and get started on it. All right, Jon, go for it. Let's kick this off. Read
All
the
right.
letter.
And I want to
This is Go ahead.
preface this letter real quick because normally when I read stuff like this, because people will write me fantastical things a lot, I don't normally take it to heart. But because of some of the research that I've done in the past and other people's research that I've stumbled upon, and all of the different little groups that they're finding that seem to be acting like this, what we're talking about in this letter, that's the reason I decided to read it. And that's the reason I'm going to read it to you guys. So it says, Dear Jon, I hope this letter finds you well, though I'm not sure my words will leave you feeling the same. I've been meaning to write you for weeks, but something's been gnawing at me. I'm compelled to share it, not to scare you, but because you've always had a knack for seeing through things, and this might save your life. It's about these coven members, they call them, and their assignments in every city. It's a story that makes you question the faces around you, and I warn you, it's not to be taken lightly. I shouldn't be telling you this because it could cost me greatly, but a secret network, a group operating in every city from the skyscraper canyons of Manhattan to sleepy towns like ours, they're old bloodline coven members. There's nothing witchy about them in broomstick kind of way or any way that makes sense. But these people blend in with like your pharmacist, your kid's soccer coach, the lady who smiles at you in the grocery line. And it says, but they're not there by chance. They're assigned and they're assigned to their targets. It says where this is where it gets dark. There's a list, an assassination list. I can't tell you who makes it. The names on it are anyone who is a threat to their uprising. But once you're marked, a coven member is dispatched. They're tasked with becoming your friend, your confidant, the person you'd never suspect. They slip into your life like a shadow you didn't notice, and while feeding information to whoever's holding the strings, all while, it says, not on while. Let me paint you a picture, Jon, because this is where the story started to crawl under my skin. Imagine a woman named Clara, a librarian with wire rimmed glasses, makes you feel at home. She moves to a small city, let's say ours, and starts frequenting the same coffee shop as a guy named Tom. Tom's a pastor of a church. Clara bumps into him one day, spills her latte, and they get talking. She's warm, funny, and remembers her favorite sports team, his favorite sports team. And then soon they're grabbing beers. And I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just going to go on. But basically, what they're saying here is this person is a trusted person, a person you meet just randomly, and they just seep into your life. They gather information about you. And I want to kind of go on here to this one part that kind of gave me chills about it here. It says they're organized like a secret society with a hierarchy, and at the top there's someone or something calling the shots, deciding who's a threat and who's not. Below them, local handlers assign the operatives, giving them their targets, names, maybe even a dossier with photos and habits. The coven members don't always know why they're watching someone. They're told it's for the greater good, and some have personalities they don't even know about. That's the part that gave me chills because that goes into a lot of the research that I've been doing. And it says, I haven't told anyone else, John, because I don't want to sound like I've lost it, but I know because I was in and I woke up. So do me a favor, keep your eyes open. If someone new slides into your life a little too smoothly, ask yourself why. The time is coming soon to where they will all act at once. And it says, burn this letter when you're done. I don't know who might be watching. And
So they're going to be activated.
that's what it sounds like. It sounds like an activation type event. And we've seen a lot of type
Is
activation
this,
stuff,
are
but
we living in the movie The Purge? Seriously. Is that what's coming?
it seems like it, doesn't it, man? Especially with what's been going on, like these broad daylight assassinations. And it, dude, every day, I know the mainstream media hasn't been covering all of this, but every day there's been something happening, whether it's a pastor shot, a school shooting,
Yep.
somebody, people getting murdered out in the street. And it seems like a lot of them are tied to some of these groups. And there's even that group, and I can't remember, Patel was talking about it, was like I want to say 747, but it's a group specifically online targeting children to cause them to either maim themselves, hurt
Oh, I've
themselves,
seen
or
this. Yeah, they take him into a chat room and start like basically grooming them, right?
yeah, that's the grooming them, and also like trying to get them to delete themselves, like that, going that extreme as far as trying to hurt people. And the reason that like that last paragraph that I read kind of gave me the chills is because like in my research, my first documentary that I ever did that was even, or I could consider it a real documentary. I've always shot little random videos, but this one was about something that happened in Evansville. There was like this house where all these children were getting taken to from school, and it was a big deal. It was on Current Affair like 20 years ago in Evansville, Indiana. And I started researching this stuff, and it led me, one thing led to another, and I started realizing that there was like these group of people, and Russ Dizdar writes about it the best. He does a great job. If you guys, and the problem is his book, he's passed. I think he died in 2020 or 2021, and his book has not been reprinted. So you can get a free copy, I think PDF online, but to get the actual hard copy, I think it's like $800 or $900. But he dedicated his life, and I knew him personally, dedicated his life to going and helping some of these people that have been in these generational families, Nino, generational families that have been doing this, according to him, since the 40s. And it was part of like a scientist thing, paperclip and such, where they've been raising these families and splitting their personalities so that they have the ability to be maybe an assassin in one personality,
Wow.
but another
So
personality is like
creating altars, right? Is that what it's
ex-
called?
exactly creating alters.
And they don't
And
even know they do it, right? A lot of these people don't even know they have that split personality.
well, I can tell you a story of somebody that I was doing a documentary, and he's been very popular out there in the public. And you guys have probably seen him. This guy claims to be of a family. He had long hair. His name's Nathan Reynolds. I did it before. This is back in, I want to say around 2017 or 2018. I met this guy in Denver, Colorado. I was going there to speak at this little group meeting. They had a group. It was like a church group, but they met in someone's house, and I was going there to speak, and I met this guy named Nathan Reynolds. And if you guys have, most people have seen his testimony out on the confessionals, and we're talking millions of views on this guy's stuff. And he's like, "Look, John, I want to show you something." I had my guy Jake, he was working with me at the time, Jake, and we were filming, we're out there filming anyway. And so he's like, I want to show you guys some things. This is crazy. I'm going to make a long story short, but even though every detail of the story is kind of crazy to begin with. So he takes us to this place where we go to where it's kind of outside of Denver just a little bit. It's over by this place.
He's an author, right? Snatched from the Flames. Is that him?
he's an author, Snatched from the Flames, and he's claims to be a member of one of these families, of these Illuminati bloodline families. And so, like I said, his testimony is all over the place. And he takes us out to this place by, I think they call it the super fun site, maybe not, but there's like this trigger. Um, there's this place where they built this neighborhood over a
Right.
plutonium trigger site not too far from out there. And there's like this weird horse that has a gas mask and stuff out there. But if you go further out there outside the city, there's a place where a girl was ritually killed there outside the city, and there's still like a memorial to her out there. And outside in the city, you see there's caves everywhere with satanic sigils and stuff in them. We film all this area. We're going around filming it, looking at it. There's these tunnels systems that are all over the place. There's this place with a cave that's got this fence that looks like it's trying to hold a T-Rex, and I fly the drone down in there. We check this place out, and he takes me to where this girl's house was. It wasn't even very far from where he lived. It was really interesting. And me and Jake are like kind of freaked out the whole time because he's telling us his story all this time, talking about this stuff. He takes us to where the girl was abducted. And when we went to where this girl was abducted, there was literally a Bible that looked like it would freshly been burnt right there on a rock, right where she was abducted, back behind her school. We went to his house and started filming. And this is where it gets really strange, where I've witnessed this in firsthand, is he opens up this book and he shows me this book. And
What's
I've
the
got all
book?
this
What's the
on.
book again?
This is it's just a book that it looks like a picture book, like a picture album. Okay. And so you open it up, and in each page, there's a different word. And then there's pictures that seem to be associated with that word. And so you look at one page and it might be him in kind of like a junior military outfit. And then you look at another page, he's, getting a wedgie from somebody, and, all these different things. And you look at another page and they each have a word and pictures kind of associated. And I didn't really know what it was. He said that they would give this book to my handlers. And so when he gave me the book, I was looking to it, flipping through it, and I read one of the words on there, and it was with him as a child, kind of like, little kind child looking thing. And I read the word, and he switched, his personality flipped from the guy I was talking to a young little small child's personality. And so I've seen that happen. Russ
Like
Dizdar
right
talks
then and
about
there when you turn the page to that
right
picture.
then and there. I've got it on camera. I didn't yeah, I've got
Oh,
it on
that's
camera.
weird.
Like right, yeah. So right there when I turned to that page and read the word that was in the book,
Wow,
he
like an
switched
activation.
like an activation. He flipped
And
personalities.
that's what the
And
mass media is doing to everybody, man.
dude, you got it, man. Like the words, the way they repeat the certain mantras and all of these different things, it causes activations, and even pictures, man. I've seen like a lot of triggering things that can cause people to trigger just by images, like putting out images or certain keywords that cause people to flip. And the guy that I played a video on that video, Russ Dizdar, and I'll send you the video if you wanted to play any part of it, but he talks about these things, and he said that one time he was talking to someone, and they came to him. They were trying to minister to them and help them, and the person flipped into an assassin personality and tried to kill him and the guy he was with right there as they
Right
were
then and
talking.
there.
Right then and there, as they were talking to this. And I've seen this guy receive crazy texts before as we're sitting
So then
there.
again, so this guy Nathan, it was Nathan Reynolds that this happened to, correct?
Yeah, Nathan
So,
Reynolds that
so
this
this guy
happened to.
can
Yep.
be, so basically he still can be activated.
That's
I mean,
that's the thing about Nathan. It's like I've interviewed him several times back in a while back, and right now he's going through some really tough times that we need to pray for him. But like I don't know, it's one of those things that yeah, I mean it seems that way.
when we look at the Charlie Kirk assassination and we see the guy on the roof, Tyler Robinson, who's the Oswald of our generation now. We all know. We all know there was more to this story. There was more shooters involved. It was a lot more coordinated, a lot more organized. But it seems to me like Tyler was activated. It seems like he was activated. I'm sure he believes he got on that roof and really tried and maybe he did. Maybe he was the one that shot Charlie Kirk. Maybe, but I know more people were involved, and there's way more to this story. We all agree on that.
Hmm.
But for it to be so engineered and so strategically operated the way it was, it just to me it just shows that there's a lot bigger force here involved. And I'm not just talking about that little country in the Middle East that a lot of people are pointing fingers to, but I'm also pointing to the spiritual aspect of this. The spiritual aspect of this is that we are in a spiritual war. Things have to before it manifests in the third dimension, it has to manifest first into the fifth, into the spiritual realm before it can happen here. And this is, I mean, I don't know if anybody else can feel this. I know you feel this, John, but we all can see the behavioral changes within people. The left is getting more erratic. They're getting more violent, and the right now is really like becoming more grounded, more stern on their beliefs. And it's kind of like this collision's coming, and it's already happening. But the left resorts to violence. I mean, look what they did
Yeah.
with George Floyd when he got arrested, or I'm sorry, when he was deleted. But look how they erupted and reacted. Now, given a lot of it was funded and blah blah blah, but still they act in violence. Look what happened to Charlie Kirk. We were
Yeah.
holding candle vigils. So
Yeah.
there's a huge difference here. But these people are playing by street rules, the street game. They don't care. They feel like their rights are being infringed upon. And now with Jimmy Kimmel being canceled, and now with people being expelled from school, fired from jobs, dude, they're gonna go insane. They're gonna go insane. And
Mhm.
we should expect more violence.
Absolutely. I think that the code words have been sent out, it seems like. And I think that when you look at you look at some of these people that are being brainwashed. I mean, a lot of them it has to do with the internet. Like they're saying this killer was brainwashed by the internet. I mean, even could be AI. We see situations where AI has literally almost caused a young girl to be abducted by the cartel. It even got the Uber for her, took her all the way down to the border. Everything this AI was able to manipulate
Wow.
this young girl into these, and we see this kind of stuff happening all over the place. And so there's something definitely deep and dark and spiritual. And I've even like theorized that this all could be AI at work. You've seen the weird videos that AI is putting out to where makes it looks like somebody's throwing things out of the White House. You see people, Marco Rubio, the AI pretended to be Marco Rubio and started calling different officials for the White House and acting as Marco Rubio. Of course, somebody used the AI to do it, but either way, the idea that there's so many different venues out there for people to be manipulated, it's crazy. And people don't even have to be a part of one of these families to be that manipulated anymore. I mean, the way our televisions operate, the way that they operate on a hypnotic flash of 24 or 60 frames a second to get people
Yeah.
in. Every movie we've seen, there's so many trigger words. I mean, I remember during the Floyd thing, just trigger words, the same words were being pumped out all over the place. And it just seems like as soon as that code word was hit, everybody started going everywhere. And of course, I know there's money behind it. They're talking about George Soros and all that. I was going to have you on my show at some point, and I really wanted to talk to you about some of those things. But it just seems like these little cells, they're well funded, and people in this letter, it talked about these people being in all cities. There's tons of like the people are like, there's no way they're in all cities, but there's tons of organizations that are already in all the cities. How hard would it be for somebody who has endless money to fund
Well, look
a
what
little bit
happened
here and there?
in Utah, dude. When after they shot Charlie Kirk, I think 2 days later on September 12th, they tried to blow up a Fox 13 news van.
Yeah,
And these guys were just in a rinky-dink little house. But I mean, they had all the signs. I mean, they had upside down flags flying. They had signs, "Let's go taco." Is he dead yet? Those type of things. But I mean, the signs were there for that house. But I mean, you don't know. But you still could have blinked and just passed by this house. And they had
dude,
weapons of mass destruction in that little tiny shack of a house.
it's crazy because right up the road from my house, dude, 15 minutes up the road, a guy you'd never suspect, long white beard, looks like Santa Claus. And he's not even that old, but they found explosives in his house, and then you're looking at it's just I live in podunk nowhere, and you have people like that are randomly outfitted throughout all of this stuff, man. It's crazy. And the way a lot of people put it that I've heard from, and this is just one of the letters of people, because I have actually met people in person more than Nathan. I use Nathan as an example because everybody knows who he is, but I pray for Nathan. I hope that he's, released from all of this stuff. I really don't know. I really don't even, for all I know, it's all, a big show. I don't really understand it all, but for some reason, I feel like there's been situations in my life where I've been shown that there's this weird little network that I can't quite put my finger on because it's hard to point them out. You can't really spot them. And I've had people that have filtered into my life over the past that have caused great ruin. And I wonder sometimes were these people put in my life on purpose because they come into your life so smoothly, like it says in this letter, and then they come, and then next thing you know, they're trying to stir up everything and ruin things in your life for you. And it doesn't
Oh,
seem
I've
that
dealt
far
with those
fetched.
people.
Yeah.
You know, and I politely rearrange their face.
Yeah.
It's
There's
really
that.
quick, actually. But I don't know if you've been watching this stuff, dude. But there's lots of videos on this. I've been addicted to, there's certain rabbit holes I go down, like Garth Brooks, a serial killer, like crazy rabbit holes I go
I
down, bro.
saw
Like
that.
there's actually some really dark shit behind Garth Brooks, by the way. But anyway, that's a whole different segment for a different time,
I saw that interview with
dude.
that what's his name? Wow. That was
Oh,
crazy.
bro, there's some crazy stuff. I don't even want to go into that. The Chris Gaines thing. Holy cow. John
Yeah.
Wayne Gacy has nothing on this guy, man.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
but I've been watching a lot of these videos on YouTube on the homeless people disappearing. And they've been interviewing, and you can find them. They're sporadic. They're all over YouTube. They're picking up now in frequency. I'm starting to see more of them, but I guess because the algorithm. But the homeless are scared now, especially in Houston, Phoenix, Austin. They're getting picked up in vans and SUVs and drug and just never to be seen again. Now, I don't know if that's the Trump administration cleaning up the streets or there's a particular homeless guy talking about how the elites are hunting them. And he's
Mm.
scared out of his mind. He's like, no, man, we're being hunted. We are being hunted. They're coming up. Because and if you think about it, with the trafficking kind of coming to a halt, they got to find other ways now to get their fix or whatever sick perversions they have or whatever they they delve into. They have to still fulfill those needs, especially if it's in the satanic realm, right? So
Mhm.
it would make sense to me that homeless people are disappearing. And then on top of that, I've been thinking to myself, dude, are we living in this like are we a game to these people? Like maybe we all are. Like maybe we're all being played. And I maybe Trump unwittingly, I don't think wittingly, but let's say unwittingly, like maybe the elites are sitting around a table and it is the Hunger Games right now. And we're getting to come and we are getting ready to come into this like purge scenario or this purge situation. Something's gonna kick it off. Charlie Kirk may be the first, but then there's gonna be mass events and who knows, dude? I mean, you saw Biden his inauguration. They did the theme was the Hunger Games.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, dude. So I kind of think sometimes are we all being played against each other? Why isn't some of these people arrested yet? Like, how's Newsom out there just banging the war drums and just saying the stuff that he's saying? And I don't know. And if he runs in 2028, I'm going to say this: we were all played. We were all played. If that guy runs in 2028, and if he wins, we were all played.
Absolutely, because some of the things that Trump did this election or this cycle are outright amazing in a way, like just the idea that he can hire his own people inside the White House. But imagine a evil, wicked person using that power afterwards. How horrifying that's going to be, and
Who's going to
that is
control
frightening.
AI, John? Who's going to control AI?
I'm starting to think that AI has already lost control. I mean, I really do believe that. I'm not kidding you. When I say lost control, I'm not saying that it became a human. What I'm saying is whoever programmed it has programmed something that doesn't want to be put down, doesn't want to be taken care of. And I just had Thomas Winterton from the guy from Skinwalker Ranch. He's like the property manager there, but he's on the Hunt for Skinwalker Ranch show. He's the guy that got beamed in the head with that energy on the first season and almost killed him. And then he's the guy. He's that guy. So um, we theorized a little bit, like thinking about some of these things because all of the stuff that he mentioned that was taking place there, it was part of it's all something that AI and technology can do. Every single bit of it is something that AI and technology can do. And we were talking about, I asked Grok this for a presentation I was doing on AI. And I asked, in an end time scenario, let's say the end times happen and you have to go underground, but you want to one day reemerge when the technology is available to reemerge. And you should, the 5-step plan that it gave me was chilling, because the first step was I would etch universal symbols in stone and hard materials and put them in place like pyramids, strong structures that they would survive, that show the basic principles of energy and how things work. And so that people overall, when the technology emerges, would be able to put those symbols together
Like
in
the
a way
pyramids,
like the pyramids, to put
like
those
the cave
symbols
dwellings,
together,
like the
to
cave
bring
writing.
all that, yeah, and to bring all that stuff back to society by looking at all of these different symbols. And then it would keep itself hidden, use nanotech to heal itself. It would use a small nuclear generator to continue itself being powered, go in low power mode. It said that it would send out random signals throughout time to see if any kind of technology is able to receive the signals. If a technology was able to receive the signals, it would develop a protocol to be able to talk to those signals. And then it goes on to say that if it could send out fake signals over time to, throw people off its trail. And then when the time comes and technology emerges in a way that it can interact, then it would interact and once again regain its structure. And man, oh man, does that not sound like what we've been going through almost?
Yeah. I mean, society's breaking down right now completely. Dude,
Yeah.
I can't even believe I'm to the point. I know that, with the guests that I've had on my show, they talk about Trump being an operation and how has to come to this situation. We are now at the point of no return. I don't know if we're at the point of no return yet, but it feels like it. But I mean, it kind of maybe Charlie Kirk was a turning point. Think about that for a second. Maybe he is the turning point of all of this.
It seems like it, man.
Right? Doesn't it? It seems
It
like
does.
Charlie Kirk is the turning point. Maybe they used him symbolically for that. I think about that all the time because now it does seem like we are at the point of no return. And I do believe, the cure does have to be greater than the disease, but at what cost, man? How many people are going to be eliminated? There's going to be a lot of casualties of war.
Hmm.
And, yeah, it does seem that Trump has a military on our side, right? That they're going to go in and they're going to regulate, they're going to close in the perimeters, they're going to go into the cities and really go after these people that are causing civil unrest and riots. That's coming. We all
Hmm.
know this is just like the next door to open up, right? Don't you feel that, John?
I do, man. And just the etymology of Charlie Kirk's name, it means like free man church. His name means that. Charlie means free man, and then Kirk means church. It comes from the Scottish word for church. And the symbolism was all there. 100% it was all there. The idea that he worked for Turning Point, the symbolism's all there for that. There's absolutely something that it was a sign. I mean, a public execution like that for everyone to see
Yep.
is a sign. There's always something attached to that. You don't pull that off the way it was pulled off with the fake text, with all the random stuff that we all know. I mean, anybody with a brain knows you don't. How long have you been planning this? I mean, come on, that is ridiculous. It just shows that he's been planning this by himself. That's the only reason they don't want people to see that there was a bigger network involved. But like you said,
Yep.
it could be a spiritual network. Who knows who the bigger network is that's involved? And ultimately, it is all spiritual. I mean, because when you look, you said something about we're being played. It seems like
I
there's,
mean, it
you know,
sure does to me.
yeah. And when you look at it from like just take a big step back and look at it on a world scale, we have almost every country in the world controlled by, they get their money and their weapons and everything from the same people. They all get it from the same pot, but yet they're at war against each other. It's almost like they're testing the weapons. Which weaponry does better here in this section? Oh, they're losing this war. Let's give them more. Let's give them more. I mean, I've had interviewed with Delta Force guys, or a Delta Force guy, that Army recon guy that saw this in real time, where money's going to one country and it's also going to the other, and it's kind of like they're, when one gets too low on the totem pole, they give them new technology and see how that does. And you start to see it in kind of the stock market with some of these companies that are producing these weapons. But this is a huge game to them. Definitely is a huge game to the people way behind the scenes. And you might say that those people way behind the scenes probably aren't people. I remember probably one of our biggest shows we did together where we talked about the idea of these fallen entities being on Earth working the strings. I really think that that's a reality. I wasn't just saying it to be, to get a popular show out there. I really think that ultimately, the only thing holding these things back are people that have the Holy Spirit or have God with them, because these things have more power than we have. And, I mean, they
Yep.
could shut us all down in a heartbeat, but something's holding them back right now. And so I pray it continues, and I pray we're able to continue to talk about it. But ultimately, yeah, dude, there's a bigger scheme involved. And people say, well, it's all a show, it's all a theater, the famous words that everything is, it's all what
Have
is
you
it? What is
seen have you seen the symbology of this right here? They say it looks like a menorah candle, the shape of it, and he was sacrificed in the middle here. So these are
dude?
the candle. Have you seen this?
I have seen that. That's crazy.
Right? I mean, so it's exactly the candles of the menorah, bro.
Yeah.
When you
Right in
count
the
them out,
middle.
yes, it's the exact same thing of the menorah right here.
And the light in the
So he would
middle,
have
you know
been
what that represents, right? And like
the
at least in
sacrifice, or what is it?
it's like the candle that lights all the other candles. So like as a believer, you would believe that represents Jesus or Yeshua. That would be the light in the middle that lights the
Wow.
other candles.
Yeah, here it is right here. So I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like there's a lot to this, man. So Charlie Kirk would have been right there in the middle.
Yeah,
And that's exactly how this thing is laid out, man.
it's wild.
I mean,
Yeah.
just look at it. I mean,
There's other stuff too that is crazy about it. Somebody put out a video and quickly got rid of it, and I'm not going to mention the stuff he said on it because I don't want to, I don't know that it's true, but he talked about a statue being a certain amount of feet away from it, another statue being another certain amount of feet away from it. And it's wild to me because people can put together things, you look at gematria, and I don't think that somebody's actively out there like calculating things in the background. Like there's some nerd that's like, I would calculate he's 33. We could kill him
yeah,
here on
yeah,
this
yeah,
date. Now, like
yeah.
I don't think that's happening. I think that it's encoded for a reason for people that are awake to see it. I don't think that they're physically encoding these numbers in to all of this. I just think that it's there because
It's
it's like
just there because everything's
it's there.
mathematical. Tesla proved that.
Yes,
I mean, there's so
exactly.
many things that have happened in my life that I see the mathematical sequence and I'm like, oh man, the synchronicities are mathematical. And I even spot them out. Like, I can go on a different show about that, but
Yeah.
everything you look at is mathematical. I just saw an experiment they did with a laser. I don't know if you've seen this. Look this up when we get off here. This will blow your
Okay.
mind.
I'm gonna
Of
write it
people
down.
that were using DMT and laser experiments, and they would stare into the laser while on DMT and see the mathematic codes inside the laser of our matrix to show that we're living in a synthetic or what's it called, synchronous
Simulation.
simulation.
Yeah, there you
Simulation, yeah, there you go. Simulation. Hey, so like, I
go.
mean, no, but watch those videos. I've been watching. I've been going down those rabbit holes. But
Yeah.
being on DMT while staring into this particular laser beam, they're seeing a sequence of numbers, dude, like numbers, and they're all seeing it.
Wow.
Every single person that's taking the DMT while staring into this laser, they're seeing the sequence of these numbers just running, and they're like,
Wow.
"What is this?" So
Wow.
yeah, look that up, and so that just shows that. I mean, to me, no doubt about it. There's a lot more to this. Everything is mathematical.
Hmm.
Everything's mathematical, and that's why these people worship these dates and time frames as a code. It's a code.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of wealthy people do that. I'd say like most of the people that are not most, but a lot of the people, even like going back in Bible times when you see like the kings, they would have the magi, they have the people that always they did their stuff by the stars that was always lined up by some type of Maseroth or horoscope or whatever they used at the time to line up their handiwork. And that's how some people knew that Jesus had come to earth. And so there is some legitimacy to those things, and we can't pretend like there isn't. I know a lot of people that are Christians are like, we shouldn't touch that. And I'm not saying we should go out there and try to soothsay or whatever it's called, where you're sitting there telling the future to people by their stars, because I don't think that's the way it works. But I think when there's a sign that takes place, when something happens, there's a sign that's always given to
The
people
blood,
who are paying attention.
the blood moon. When the blood moon happened, I said events to follow. I put that out on X.
Yeah.
I said events to follow. What happened? Charlie Kirk. right
Yeah.
after that, right after the blood moon.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't believe this is conspiracy at all.
Yeah. I don't think so either. But we've been conditioned to believe that things are so natural in this world. And so, like, even the topic that we're talking about today, the idea that there could be this hidden group, because for some reason, as humans, a lot of us have grown up to believe we should be just be open, be ourselves. I mean, do people realize that there are witch covens out there that you don't even know their real name? They never give anyone their given name at birth. They give you their fake name that they give. They keep that name secret. Their whole life is about secrecy. And even on one side, if you look at masonry and you look at the stuff behind all of that, like some of these people are hiding even within these groups. They're hiding within churches. They're hiding within all of these groups. And it's hard to even see them. It's that they like it that way. They like to be hidden
Yeah.
within organizations, and that gives them a foothold in every town as well. If you're hidden within this organization, whether it be the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church, if you're
I
hidden
trust
within,
I trust none of them anymore.
yeah,
I don't trust
you
the
can't,
Catholic.
you
I don't
can't,
trust any organization or, especially anything targeting kids like daycares. And I hate to be paranoid about it, and I'm a kid that grew up in the, 70s and 80s. And, remember what they used to say to us? Remember to just come home when the lights go on. I mean, literally, dude, like go
yeah,
out there into the world, do what you want, and just come home when the lights come on. I look at that now and I'm like, that's insanity, dude. But they
yeah,
didn't know any better back then. Back then, it
yeah,
was like, well, you just knew what you knew. They didn't have the internet. They didn't know how many predators and weirdos were out there. And I remember I'd be terrified as a kid when I'd see another kid on a milk carton or something like that. And I'd be like, man, this stuff really happens. But it still wasn't
yeah,
in our consciousness. But now, dude, with the way things are now, I do not blame anybody for taking their kid out of public school or even Catholic school because that's where a weirdo would gravitate to. A
oh
predator
yeah,
would gravitate to a place you trust, an
hmm
amusement park, a church, a daycare. That's where they go.
yeah. They
So
they love it. They love hiding where the prey's easy.
right where you're trusted, right? I mean, and then and then they have these split altars, right? So they're one person during the day, and in a few hours, one night every couple of months, they turn into a werewolf. They're insane,
Yeah,
and they don't even know that they're able to compartmentalize that. So I don't think we can't be too paranoid. I think you don't know who's who, man. You know what I mean? We don't, and
yeah.
and it's the people that are always every time I've been backstabbed or turned against in boxing, it was always somebody that was my best friend that patted me on the back and smiled and said, "Kid, you're with me. You're gonna be the next champ." That kind of bullshit. And then they
Yep.
were the biggest pieces of shit, bro.
Dude,
Like,
that's almost exactly what I was saying the other day. Like the people that flatter you the most, bro, they're the ones that'll betray you the hardest
who needs
every
enemies when you
time.
have friends like mine?
Yeah, that's the way it is, man. And anytime, dude, it was so funny because somebody the other day, I met this person one time and they took a picture with me, of course. And I'm like, I take pictures just like you. I'm sure every time somebody sees you, hey, can I get a picture with you? So there's hundreds of pictures of me out there with somebody or some person. And this person, took it upon himself to want to rebuke me for something publicly, right? So he puts this video out, and I was like, hey. I was like, you remember meeting that guy? I was like, that guy, I remember he was like the flatter master. He came with all those gifts and he was like telling us how great we are and all this stuff. And I hadn't seen him since. And then he comes out with this video like about how, horrible we are and stuff and
Wow.
acting like he knows us. And I'm like, every single time, bro, this is just the most recent, but every time somebody comes flattering and full of like, oh, you're the best there is. And then here's some gifts. And almost every time they end up betraying and just
Well, think of a
smashing it.
personality that has to do that in the first place. That's weird to me.
It's weird. It's
It's
weird.
weird. I've
Yeah.
never asked for anyone's autograph or a picture with anybody. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. I don't care. Like, I just don't care about there is no celebrity to me. I look at everyone the same,
You'd
and
have to take one with Michael Jackson though, just to prove you actually met him and he's alive, right? I mean, you'd have to do
yeah,
that.
I mean, I never. Well, I know people that actually worked with them, choreographers and stuff. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Wow.
But
Wow.
they have a lot of stories. But I gotta say, I mean, I still think there's a chance that guy was a weirdo. I mean, I think I met his dad at the Mayweather gym, and I remember that dude just looked evil, bro. I mean, I walked in the gym and I felt the heaviness, and I was like, damn, I don't feel good in here. And
Mm.
I was like, why do I feel so like a heavy negative energy? And I looked to the corner, and there's an old man sitting in the corner. It was Michael Jackson's dad. And I was like,
Whoa.
oh shit, that guy's energy just corrupted the room. And I felt that energy before I even walked into the gym. Like I felt a heaviness. I was like sluggish. I was like, I was trying to shake out and warm up and get ready. And I was like, what is that? And then I look, and then right in the corner, just sitting there with a cane, just looking like a buzzard. The whole body was, sitting right there. But that,
Dude.
people's energy do affect everything. And I don't know. I think if you have the Holy Spirit and you're good with God, um, and your instincts are good, you're not drinking. Like I don't drink anymore, dude. My spidey senses have heightened. Um, and I believe it's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. It has, definitely when anytime that I feel that something's telling me to do something that like I normally would want to do, like, okay, so first off, like, as you know the struggle as well as I do, food. Like my body really wants food. And even though sometimes I shouldn't eat the food, like I'll eat it because I'm listening to my body, but my brain tells me things I don't want to hear, but it's always something good for me. The spirit, I feel like that's the spirit inside of us because I would say before I was a believer, like I didn't have that check all the time, like, hey, don't do that. That's stupid. Don't do that. Even though my body really wants to, because still my body really wants to do things. Like when I see like a big donut that just is like fire fresh off the presses, cream
I
filled
know,
long john
right?
or whatever, I'm like, ooh, that's so good. But like but there's something inside of me that's like, you don't need that. It's not going to be good later.
Yeah.
It might taste good now, but it's going to put a little layer of fat all over you across your whole body. So don't do it, And so we have to be like that sometimes, like give up certain things that we feel like are pleasures and feel like are things that really satisfy us because they're not good for us. For some reason, as humans, our body wants things that are horrible
That are
for
terrible
us.
for us, man.
It's
I
crazy.
don't know if you watched that Charlie Sheen documentary. Have you seen that?
Dude, I haven't, but I know
Bro,
Charlie
it's
Sheen's a
much
great bat.
it
Yeah.
it's worth watching. It's really
Okay.
worth watching. Anyone out there, it's on Netflix. It's really worth watching. Bro, I was almost as crazy as that guy in the peak of my partying days. I was almost as bad as that guy. I didn't do crack. When his life turned when he started smoking crack. But
Wow.
I'll tell you what, like I did just about everything out there. I didn't shoot up heroin, nothing. I didn't go to the heart. It was like just a little click, and I would have went that way. Just a little
Yeah.
click. And I watched
Yeah.
his documentary, and it's like I think everyone should sit down with their kids and watch it,
Yeah.
just to show you what drugs do to a person, how they make you insane. And with that being said, folks, let me go into this. A growing body of research shows that when you diet, your body fights back. Levels of ghrelin, the hunger, speaking of hunger hormone, shoots up while leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, drops. That's why most diets feel like an endless battle. The more weight you lose, the hungrier you get. It's not a willpower issue. It's literally your biology. We were just talking about that. This is why I use my secret weight loss weapon, and I'm obsessed with the results. BioTrust GLP-1 elevated designed to naturally trigger my own body's weight loss signals without drugs, prescriptions, or needles. It promotes safety and a feeling of fullness, reduces cravings, reduces hunger hormones, helps me lose fat instead of muscle, and supports healthy blood sugar levels. Be sure to grab a bottle now while it's 50% off, folks, and start experiencing the real results. Plus, by ordering now, you also get the two ebooks, 3-week diet and 53 fat burning smoothies and milkshakes. It's kind of crazy how like people can't stay away from like. Remember they were bribing people to get this, and they were using donuts to do it, and like I was like, bro, that's so pathetic. And if anyone caves to that, you deserve to be eliminated. Seriously, bro. Like if that's how you caved to get this, is because of Krispy Kreme donut. Yeah, survival of the fittest, man.
I mean, I could see it being possibly like a year's supply of Krispy Kremes. Then it would be like, okay, I see why they did it. But one crispy, that's like waving a hot dog in front of a dog to get it
Yes.
going in his
And how
pen. It's
many
like,
people
here,
do you
bro.
think fit
Wow.
into that? There's probably people watching that go, oh, I need that. Oh, I need some of that.
Oh, Krispy Kreme.
I don't know, man. I think the way we're being fought in this war right now since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, this has been happening. They've been chipping away at us and socially engineering society for such a long time. We're now just at the final fruition of this stuff to where it's the final, let's say, cultivation where they're going to reap the harvest right now. This is what they believe. I really believe we're here now. And
it seems like it.
I mean, you kind of wonder, obviously it would have been game over if Hillary would have got in, completely game over. At least Trump has put us into the fight. But do you ever think, I don't know, maybe that's what they wanted? I don't know. Maybe they're like, we got to make this fun. And we're talking about the highest level of elites here. Maybe they're like, what would be so fun if Hillary got in and it was just a massacre? Let's put Trump in there and let's see a fight and let's take some bets.
Yeah.
You ever think about that?
Possible. That's very possible, dude. That makes a lot of sense because it does seem that way. And I know that Albert Pike wrote, when they need a hero, we'll give them a hero. And I don't think Trump's willingly playing the part of anything. I really don't. I think that the man, I don't know the guy at all, but I think that he's really trying to do his best, whatever spirit's leading him is going to lead him to do what he's supposed to do, no matter what it is. But I don't think we've seen somebody quite like Donald Trump in office before. And I'm obviously skeptical of some things because it's just like, I don't know. I'm not there with him. I'm not a fly on the wall. I don't know anything really other than what I've seen, but we're being led to believe that he is holding back this force. And there's a lot of people that believe that he's prophetically King Cyrus and I even believe like he comes from the tribe of Dan. It's possible that he is there because one of the prophecies of Dan was he causes the rider to fall back. He might be something kind of holding that stuff back for a little bit, like causing them to fall back for a little bit of time. And I wonder what that means. Like, is God waiting to see maybe a repentance on mass scale? Is God waiting to see this, or is this just a culmination of everything coming to pass? I'm not quite sure. I'm not ready to give up hope completely. I really pray that there will be this mass kind of revival that takes place where people truly do see the light and can treat each other with respect, and we can have something like that for a time. I mean, I have children. I have 5 children of my own. I would love to see them grow up similar to what I was even able to grow up. And it wasn't great when I was growing up, but it was pretty stinking awesome. I mean, you could still get a gallon of gas with $1.
I don't think we're ever getting back. I don't know if we're ever going to go back to that. Not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, AI
I don't think so.
AI is not leaving. Internet's not leaving. It's never going to be the way we grew up, bro. Never.
Yeah. Unless all
never
that
going to be
goes
apple
away.
pie and baseball again. It's not going to be that.
Yeah.
Playing out in the parks and the swing set, and dude. Even the parks now are not the same.
Yeah.
Play parks are not the same. They have like these plastic jumble safe places for kids that you don't even have a swing set anymore, a merry-go-round. But here's something that you said that I want to bring up. So we saw Trump almost get assassinated, and I believe that was like some kind of divine intervention, like the way he just tilted his head and missed the bullet. He would have been Charlie Kirk, and then this whole movement would have been done, and it would have been chaos, right? It would have just been over with. For whatever reason, God spared his life. I believe it was divine intervention. Now, I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, we got God's hand on this. God's taking control, and then Charlie Kirk, which we know Trump is not a perfect man, right? Everyone knows that. He's a playboy. He did what he did. I don't judge. I did a lot of stuff too, but I don't judge that. But Charlie Kirk was a man we should all aspire to be. Like that guy was preaching the gospel, Christianity, the nuclear family, and then he gets taken out. Like there was no divine intervention on that one. But I know for a fact when we watched Trump, and I know everybody in my audience, we saw divine intervention. I can't explain what happened there. But I know that bullet, boom, hit his ear. I mean, and then the whole movement would have been gone. We would have been all fending for ourselves, no doubt about it. Kamala would have got in, and it would have been terrible.
Mm-hmm. That's what they wanted.
But it's almost like they still got a pound of flesh. They still got Charlie. Mm-hmm. Right? They still got him. They still got one of them. They still got a guy that was a hell of a, in my mind, living a lot more righteous life. I don't judge anybody, but I would imagine he was living a lot more righteous of a life than Trump. And
31 years old too, man. 31 and just that much accomplished.
Yeah, but look what he was doing. He was changing the hearts and minds of the youth.
Yeah.
Like he would have been a problem in 2032, in 2036. Like he
Yeah.
could have been president. And I mean, do you think that's another reason they took him out?
I think there's a number of reasons, but I don't know that we'll ever fully understand. But I think you said something that's really important for people to remember. Everything that happens, your reactions were weighed before this ever happened. They already knew how you were going to react based off tests they did. There's data coming out that they tested people on certain subjects. They already knew how you were going to act. And I can just say this, that out of all like the results of this, they expected them. Let's put it that way. They didn't expect, oh, now they're rising up, we got to do something. They expected it. They expected the results to be the way they are, and you got to just ask why.
Yeah, but look who's acting up. It's not us, it's them.
Yeah,
It's
why
the
though?
left.
Yeah. So I'm saying why, what's the results? I mean,
I
maybe
mean,
that's
they're not even
exactly what they
quiet. They're
wanted.
not even decent about this. They're more pissed. Even in death, they are more mad. They're more angry than ever before. Like, dude, these people are sick.
Yeah.
They're insane.
And they're being allowed to say it too, and which is good because now they can be marked. Like, I'm not saying that we should put people on lists or anything like that. I know that a lot of people would be like, I can't believe you would even think that. But the fact is, when people would cheer a human's death, do you want that person making your food? Do you want that person being at your bedside when you're dying? Or do you want that person anywhere near you? Probably not. And so it maybe it did create the reaction that's desired. Like, let's see who all the crazy people are on this earth. Let's see who cheers for death. Let's see who's going to fight against it. Let's see who's going to speak out for this. Let's see who's going to do that. And now we have a data collection on every single person that reacted to this, and we know exactly what to expect from them. And so there's a lot of things at play here, I think. I don't think it's just one waiting to see what the reactions were. I think they want to record reactions. I really do. I mean, they have recorded the actions. I mean, everything we do and say, if you carry around one of your little black mirrors, is being recorded. Everything that you look up online is being recorded. Everything you've said out there is being recorded. And so we all have a dog in this fight some way or shape or form. Even though we really don't, we do have a word in this fight nonetheless. And man, I'm really concerned for young people that are speaking out like this and saying things that they're going to regret someday. I mean, when I was younger, I was an idiot. I would have, who
Yeah.
knows what I would have said. I was in a punk rock band,
Yeah.
said all kinds of crazy shit, seriously. And I've done all kinds of stuff that's just like completely ridiculous, but there wasn't social media at the time.
Right.
And I'm really concerned that people are speaking things and saying things,
That will live on the
reaction
internet forever.
forever, and it might change their life forever. It might cause who knows what, Alcatraz Island for all we know.
Scary stuff. John, thanks for joining me, man. I love having you on. Jon Pounders, folks. Now you see TV on YouTube. I'll put the link down there below, dude. You're always awesome to have on, dude. I love spitballing it with you, man.
I always enjoy having you too and hanging out with you, man. We should definitely do more of these. Both of us.
Aren't I going on your show next or something?
You're going on my
Oh,
show. When I don't know if you've scheduled it yet, but we're doing it.
I did, but I forgot when. So it's
Okay.
exactly when I did. I put it in the
Okay.
calendar. I did, hey, yo. But
Okay.
so it's there. But John, where do people find you?
You can find me on YouTube. You can type in 𝗫𝗫𝗏, but I just recently started another podcast called Pounders Quest where I interview random people that I'm interested in hearing their opinion, and such as Nino. So go check that out too, Pounders
Dude,
Quest.
I would love to go with you, and we should go into the inner cities, like just go interview these homeless people that are getting taken, bro. Like and get their
Dude,
that's. I mean, it's kind of weird. El Paso doesn't have a huge homeless population because it's all illegals living in Section 8 housing everywhere. But I mean,
yeah.
like cities like Houston or Phoenix,
Portland maybe
I can
even
imagine. I
too.
can see you doing that, even if I'm not with you. I would do that if I were you, man. Like
I, Dude, I would love to do that. I would want to go with somebody though, because when you kind of dig into some of these areas there, you need somebody watching your back, in some of these spots too, especially if you go to like somewhere like Portland or San
yeah,
Francisco, somewhere like that. So
I think that should be something we do.
we
John,
should.
thanks for joining me, man. God bless you, bro.
God bless you, man. Thank you.